Okay, and then this is at the southern end of the refuge near Homosassa Crystal River. And these orange markers are the border of the refuge. And they just added a bunch more of these markers in too. Here's another rock, ship rock. See it in the picture here. This whole area here. And then these are oyster beds. So let's poke around in here a little bit and see what's up. You can see that there's tons of black tracks in here. A lot of these are recommended for airboats only even. You can get back and forth through these islands and things, but I would never do it in a big boat, and certainly never do it at low tide in a boat, unless it's like an airboat or a super skinny boat. My boat couldn't do that. But at high tide you can, and this shows you how to do it. This does show you how to do it, and you can see that the pictures are very, very clean, and there's no question about what you're supposed to do when you're here, getting through here. Even coming through, you know, a place like that shows you exactly how to get through and how to wind around through the dangerous areas. So I actually had video of my boat at this spot here at dead low tide, trying to get into 7 cabbage cutoff, which is, I think, what this is. I think this is 7 cabbage cutoff, right? 7 Cabbage Island. So I came in here and I took video, I think, of my boat approaching. Yeah, let's see, I'm making my bearings here. I took video of me approaching this thing, idling along, and I got to this spot here, and I was trying to see if I could float through there, and I was not able to do it. I ran aground, and that's the reason that that's black. A lot of boats could do it. My boat couldn't do it that day, and I got a flat skiff, so this is the run through there. A lot of people make it, but it's not the easiest run to do, particularly when the water's low. And you can also get in from the top part up here. You can do it, get into it. It runs north-south, and you can get in this way. When you come in, you have to go around this bank here, and you come in from the top from Porpoise Bay, and then you come in this way, and you can see there's caution symbols all around. You got this little narrow creek here you got to go through, and the water's down. You can see it's very, very clean how to do it. It's very helpful with respect to that. And then you can do this one too, Rose Creek, coming from Oyster Creek down. But there's a lot of black tracks that go through the refuge on the inside like this, and most of them are for airboats, but some people make them in the other ones. And so I've got some more danger signs here. You can see that the pictures are very bright, and they're easy to read. And everything is, you can see the bars are all precisely highlighted. It makes it pop off the map so that you can see it very cleanly, how to navigate through. And if you're paying attention and you follow it, you're not going to have a problem. Here's one, for instance, that people would make, this run here. You can see you can get through there, and I've highlighted the deeper part of the channel through here. And you come across this hole, come up through here like this, and then you have these ribbon rock all through here. You have to stay right in the channel like that. That's why there's caution symbols on. It's all like ribbon rock through here. It'll just tear your boat up if you don't do it just like that. You can do it if you follow that line, and some people do that. But they're all black for a reason, and I wouldn't do it without doing it with good visibility the first time. So then you have the red tracks coming in, and this is like the major runs through, and you can get an idea what that would look like. Okay, zoomed out view. And then this is, I think this is Mason Creek. Yeah. So I think this is Mason Creek. Let's see. Yeah, Mason Creek, Homosassa Bay. All right, so a lot of stuff going on in Mason Creek. You got this big bank sticking out here. You got telephone poles. You got these little concrete abutments out in the water, PVC stakes, rocks sticking up, bank sticking out, and power lines going across the way like that. But this is the main run coming out of there. Let's see what they got for that picture there. See how much detail they provide for Mason Creek. So you got basic dark water, and you can see sort of where the land is, and that's about it. No detail in the water, no posts, no banks, no flats, no rocks, no markers, no posts for power lines sticking in the water. You're sort of like just hoping that if you stay out here, you're not going to run into anything. And when we get to about here, it's like, well, what would I do then? Should I go this way? Maybe should I go this way? Or can I get through there? You would really have very little idea. Maybe if you zoom out. If you zoom out, it sort of looks like you're supposed to go like, well, maybe you go like this, but maybe you go like this. It's just not clear. I mean, if you've never been to that spot before, that is the problem that you would have trying to figure that out in Homosassa, running with the Navionics. So let's see what it would be like if you were in this spot with this one. So you got a PVC stake, you got a sign, you stay on the track, and this would be the run. And you got a red marker here, and that's exactly the way you're supposed to do it. You weren't supposed to go like this. Sort of looked like you could do that on the other one, but and you weren't supposed to go like that or like that. You got to do it like that. You go through the red and green, and then you come past this bank here. There's a rock there on that post, and you just keep heading out. It's a marked channel. Goes right on out Mason Creek. You got some posts, some PVC stakes, and then you're heading out to the outside of the refuge. Okay. Homosassa Springs. This is the top end, and this is blue hole. You can see that this is where the springs would come out. They got signs all around, probably manatees and stuff up in here. And you can see the water looks different there. Buoys, and that one looks like it's marking a rock too. Power lines coming across. When you come out Homosassa, you're gonna make this turn, and you gotta avoid all this oyster rock stuff out here. You can see sign, red buoy, green marker. Come right out, and you just keep following the channel right on out. Up here at St. Martin's Keys, this is St. Martin's Keys. It's black as it gets real skinny. You're supposed to come in this main channel here, but this thing goes way, way out, but these aren't really, these are colored PVC stakes out here. So they have PVC stakes, they colored them red and green, and that's sort of the safe way to come in this way through all the, you know, it's like maybe a mile and a half long or something like that. You got to do all this whole winding around through here. You won't find that on any of these other charts. You're just not going to see the stakes on there. These little posts and rocks and things like that, you're just not going to see that. I'd be surprised if they had that. Let's see if they have all these colored PVC stakes on their pictures, just to compare. Nothing. Couldn't see not even one of them. You won't be able to understand that. The more I look at this is a very, very dangerous chart to run. You just have absolutely no idea what you're doing here with this chart. You're on your own completely. It's almost like it just sort of shows you where water is and where land is, and you hope there's nothing that you're going to run into. That's pretty much all you can get out of looking at it like this, the way it's presented. The pictures are just not sufficiently detailed in order for you to understand where not to be. Okay, so let's see if we can come in here. I think this is the Narrows. I think they call this the Narrows through here. Colored PVC stakes get you from Homosassa to Crystal River. It says colored PVC stakes. It's short. It tells you that that's what you're going to be running into as you come up this way, and you just follow the line all the way up. This is sort of the inside run between Crystal River and Homosassa, and then it goes past Ozello. Okay, so there's Ozello, and what it would be like if you were staying in this area here, and how you would get in and out of here. You can see all these crazy banks and stuff they have through here, and you can actually get your boat up under that road. Some boats can make it under there. I could barely get my boat under there, but I did do it. But you have to do this windy path in order to navigate that. But the pictures are done so well here on this update that you can actually see most of the obstacles in the photos. And it's really very, very helpful to understand what you're supposed to do. So this is the Narrows here. So we're going from basically down here all the way up towards Crystal River up here on this run like that, instead of having to go way out. That's what they call the Narrows. Past Ozello, you keep on going all the way up this way. Salt River, Salt Creek, more PVC stakes. We call it the Narrows. Get you all the way up towards the north. And then you come to sort of Crystal River area, and this place called, these are all very famous runs, like popular runs. They call it Coon Gap, but this is Coon Gap and how you would get through there when you come out of Crystal River. Past the gas pumps there. This is sort of interesting. In this spot here, that's black because you could really run aground there at low tide through that place there. You really need to do it this way. But you can do it when the water's up in most of the boats through the black track there, and a lot of people would make that run. It's hard to see it, but you can sort of see where people didn't make it there, and some people had a problem there. This is really the better way to do it up here, and that's why the track is on the other side. And then you have this bank sticking way out here. These are signs. All the way back into Crystal River. Lots of stuff going up in here where the spring comes out. You can see the spring right there. Lots of springs over here, one here, one here. Springs all up in this area here, feeding that whole thing. Lots of buoys, manatee zone stuff, I guess. And you come out of there and you either go down to the Little Coon Gap down here, or you keep on going straight out this way. The main drag out and right on out like that. Lots of banks when you come out. And when you come out through these markers, you can see the boats going right through this is probably the like major entrance to it right there. There's rocks out here. And let's see if you can see that on their chart. So that would be like the very beginning of the main entrance to Crystal River. And that's what they provide. So that would be the picture that you had coming in, basically just sort of a dark purple picture with some red and green markers, which are probably pretty close to where they're at, but you wouldn't see any of the danger symbols up here, no rocks, no nothing. You wouldn't be able to see it. It's just really, and then picture changes out here. So that's really something. All right. Okay, this goes right on out like that. It shows you how to get through the banks, through the deeper part of the banks as you keep going. Gives you things to follow. And then we're sort of on the north end of Crystal River there. It comes into, we can look into these little creeks like this. People fish up here, and like here, you can see a boat right there in that creek. And it shows you how to get in and out of all the creeks, if you can get in there or not. And you should be good. All right, so then we're gonna move up towards Yankeetown. You got the stacks here, the big smokestacks, or the power, I guess the stack, they call them the stacks for the power plant there, I guess. Discharge. And these are all the shallower banks here that I've highlighted and how to navigate through there as you get up in towards Yankeetown. With the Lakuchi, and then you have the boat ramp here. So a lot of people would launch down over here, sort of near there. I've launched there a couple of times. And this is the ingress and egress out of there. So you could leave the boat ramp, and if the water was up, you could make that run to the north this way. Or you could just go out this way with the main channel and come out the other side there. Or you can run back up into the river here. Like that. Let's see there's the boat ramp right there. Let's see what they have for that. Wow, all right. So if you had this one, you'd have absolutely no direction in order what to do here other than just to go the main drag out this way through the markers. You wouldn't know what you could do in this direction. And the pictures up here in the Yankeetown area, this is as good as it's going to get. So we won't have to switch back and forth too much up here to look at them, because this is as good as it's going to get. And I can tell you right now, you would never want to be running Yankeetown with this. This is really a disaster in my opinion. You would never want to be running up here in a place like this with the map like this. It's absolutely no use to you whatsoever in terms of the details. Very, very dangerous. All right, so I'm not gonna look at that again for a while until we get further north. All right, so this is what's really here. And these are all the little oyster bars and stuff that stick up through Yankeetown. And most of them are highlighted, so they pop off pretty easily. And then you can see the ingress and egress through how you would run around in here and where the really dangerous areas are. Like if you were coming through here, there's big, huge rocks here, big, huge rocks in this area. You got to do it like that. And same thing right there. Rocks all through that area, but you would come through like that, and you could get up into these creeks that people use. Like there's a ramp there. There's a ramp, I think, up in this way too, like up in here. Yeah, ramp up in there. But these bars are shifting around, and you really can't do it when the water's low. You can never get up in there. When the water's high, you can go all the way up in there like that, no problem. Okay, so even if we don't have the greatest pictures here, I still highlighted the bars in the yellow, so it's easy to see where they're at when you're running around, and should be good. All right, here's a broken off piling. This is what they call the trout stake. For any of the people in Yankeetown, this is the trout stake. It's exactly in that location. You have, it's a cut-off telephone pole, and it covers up when the water's high. You can't see it. If you run into it, it'll destroy your boat, it'll sink your boat. And you can see there's a track actually going real close to it. But it is noted on there for a reason. It's very, very accurate. Let me see if they have that on there. That's very, very dangerous. I had a customer call me and take a picture of that. We ran out there and took a look at it, and yeah, you can't see it. So here's an example of community edits not working. So it looks like that, well, this says trout. I'm not sure if they're trying to say that that's the trout stake. But then they have submerged pile here and pile over here, position approximate. But this, I think, is the community edit. But it doesn't tell you where the thing is in terms of the obstacle, which is really what you want to know for the most part. And the obstacle, instead of being right there, is way down here. This is where the obstacle is. And they have nothing down there. It's just the craziest thing ever. All right, so that's Yankeetown. Okay, and then we're getting up towards Waccasassa and Cedar Key area. So this is the ingress and egress. I guess there's some artificial reefs out here that someone sunk out that way. And let's see what we got coming into Waccasassa. So this is the Waccasassa River. And you go through the markers like that. You come up in here like this. These pictures were really sort of a hassle to mess with, but we did the best I could with it. The tracks are all exactly correct. Markers and the banks are all exactly correct. The ingress and egress is exactly correct. And these markers are all good out here. The green markers. But what's so funny about them is that they're just posts. They don't even really green anymore. When I was out there last, they were just posts sticking up. You couldn't tell if they were supposed to be red or green or what they were supposed to be. Okay, then you got these oyster reefs things out here. And then we're heading over towards the Cedar Key area. And then you can see that the pictures in the coast now are a little bit lower resolution in this area, starting at about here and working our way over. Except for a few areas, you're going to see that the pictures are not quite as good as they were down south. They're still very good, but not maybe quite as good. They're okay right here though at Cedar Key. So this is low tide picture taken near Cedar Key, and you can see the tracks going through the bars there and the oysters and all that. a lot of stuff going on here with this. So this is really coming into Cedar Key. This is the pier out there, and the ingress and egress to get in there. Right around that bar. You want to do it like that. Some people do it like this, but you can't do that when the water's too low. Let's see what they got for Cedar Key. All right. They do have the representation of the bar correctly. That's correct. The picture is not the greatest picture, but at least you can see the bar. And then you come back here into the river, and then the pictures go fuzzy, and you're really not going to be good once you get past here, past this bridge. So if you're trying to get your boat back in here, you're better off trying to be zoomed out to give you a general idea, because the pictures go bad when you zoom in. So you need to sort of stay, in this deeper channel here, but there's a lot of obstacles in there, and if you try to really see them with this, you're not going to be able to see them. So let's see what's really there. Trying to come in behind Cedar Key. All right, so there's the marina. These are the banks, the oysters. This is the ingress and egress through here. You got yellow caution, and then it gets really sort of tight here. And then this is at low, dead low. And then here, you really got to pay attention right across that. So I was bumping hard there. It almost looks like maybe this one would be better to come out this way right now, but this was the better way at the time I ran it last time. Okay, so that's that. You come back up in here like this. It shows you exactly how to do this. Well, I can see there's lots of oysters through here. These pictures are pretty good. You can see the banks very, very cleanly here. And then, let's see. That's the zoomed out view. And then out like in front of Cedar Key. This is the kind of detail that we have. You can see the holes in the flats and most of the channels through here. And the basic runs through the Cedar Key area. Sort of a zoomed out view, if you will. Okay, so that's that. Here is some oyster lease stuff. You have like tons of steaks. See these pictures here, you can actually see in the pictures. These are oysters, like some kind of lease thing area where they farm the oysters. And there's lots of steaks and PVC steaks all out here. That's why it says that. And you can see where they buried the stuff out there on the flat in the picture. Right in the picture you can see that. Right over here too. All of these are oyster leases. And this green line here is basically a line of fence. It's, well, not a fence, but it's a line of PVC stakes all in a row. And it goes from here all the way to here, and it's probably, warning you that all this stuff is out this way. And it goes like this, big whole row of posts, and then like this and like this. And you can clearly see it in the picture, what they're roping off there with the PVCs. Okay. That's pretty good picture there for that. Let's see what they got for that. See if there's any better over here. Nope. No good. All right. No good. Let's go back to this one. All right. You can see when you're running around out here, there's just tons of banks out here. And even though they go out here into this deeper water, I've still noted the locations of the banks out here, even where I don't have any good pictures, to help you, when you're out there, to avoid those areas. The reason that track, because it goes through that bar like that. Just don't have a good picture out there. It wasn't available. This is another example right here. You got to go through like that. That's a marked channel like that. There's 2 banks here. Okay, this is, I think, Suwannee. Yeah, we're getting into Suwannee. You have telephone poles, power lines coming through here like this. Lots of neighborhoods in here, and tons of different tracks I ran through this area here. Lots of banks, lots of oyster banks and things like that all through here like this. I didn't go way up in here, but you could you could use these pictures to really figure out how to get way up in here. Some boats, airboats and things like that could get up in here. I can't get it in my boat, but it'll show you the deeper tracks and the deeper holes and things like that. Just because there's no tracks doesn't mean that you can't use the product to go back into these other areas where I couldn't get, and a lot of people can't get. Like a lot of airboats up in here, and they would run up in there at low tide and fish and trap holes and things created when the water runs out. You could run all the way back up in here, like even like up into a place like that even. In some of these creeks, but the tracks, I could only make them go so far, and for a typical flat skiff. And you can see the markers on the way, the PVCs and all that kind of thing. It's pretty shallow to get through there at low tide to try to make that. And then I ran out of room right there. I ran out of juice there. I couldn't go any further. And then up here, you're getting towards, these are all PVCs out. I don't know, I guess they're marking this or some kind of oysters or something out there. As we get closer to, I think, Horseshoe, there's a lot of creeks up in this way. So I'll try to show some of the creeks, because I don't know if I can see everyone through this video, but people say, what about this creek or that creek? Well, I'm trying to show the detail of the creeks in the Big Bend and what we've got here. So this is a representation of, I think, the Horseshoe area. And we got power lines coming out like this to feed these 2 islands. You can run across there when the water's up, but you can't run across there when the water's down. You can actually see in the pictures, where some of the scars and stuff, like people run through there like that, and all the obstacles that are out there. Then you have these big jetties on each side coming in, and then bars on each side over here. And then on the other side, you have this other run coming in that way with these markers and these PVC stakes up this way. And then rocks out here, all rocks this way. And then a little ingress and egress on the backside. When the water's up, you could do this one. And you can see where lots of people run out this way, and there's lots of scarring through here. Okay, that is, I think, the Horseshoe. I think that's Horseshoe, yeah. Okay. Here's a creek in that area. Keep on moving up, and then you have pepperfish, which is a very fishy area, and this is the way this is the way to navigate that. You cannot get back through here close to shore when the water's down. It's just not enough water in here to do this. When the water's up, you can do all through here. When the water's down, low tide, you can't get that close to shore. It's just too shallow. And that's the reason why, starting in about this area and going all the way across, you have red lines out here and black lines in here, because that's just the way this place is done. All the way up towards Steinhatchee, you have black tracks and red tracks, and when the water's low, you can't someplace get even close to 2 miles to shore. It's just too shallow. You could be out over here and be in, 8 inches of water or something. So that's the reason it's like this, because people run this all the time, but they understand when they can do it. So I came through here at low tide, and this is as far as I could get at low tide in my boat. We're to the red. That's where I ran it out, right there and right there. And there just wasn't enough water for me to do all this when the water was dead low up there when I did it. But you can see that, people were doing this a lot when the water's higher, or in the super skinny boats, maybe they could do it. All right, so that's that. We're getting up closer towards, I think this is Steinhatchee, yeah. So this is the Steinhatchee area, which is very treacherous, very, very treacherous to run this. So this is Steinhatchee. Okay. Let me give the sort of view. The river comes all the way up into here, all the way to the end, and I ran the track all the way up to the end here, where it stops, and you can't go under that bridge. And there's tons of rocks up here. I ran it all the way out. Spent a whole week here, running 8 hours a day for a whole week, doing tracks from here all the way down this way, from here all the way up in here. All these black tracks all the way up in here. You can see black and red all the way across were created during this research I was doing. But with respect to Steinhatchee, the number of the tracks that we have here on this version of the chip versus the last movie of the North Florida chip, it's probably 5 times more tracks and 10 times more detail. So there is a lot of detail here. I'll just start right up here at the top. The tracks start way up here at the top of this river. Most people wouldn't come up here, but when you get up to a place like this, it's all residential neighborhood. I found just buried rocks and stuff all up in here. I couldn't get my boat past there. And then there's this bridge here. I looked in the other map, and I don't think they have any notes for that there last time I took a look. And then you have signs, and you come right down the river, because most people come here, they're going to stay on this river somewhere, and then they're going to motor on out. And most of this whole way is idling, for the most part, all the way out until you get close to the mouth of this thing. And then you have the major marinas out here towards the entrance, and then you have this dangerous rock bar, and then the boat ramp over here. If you're not launching here, you're probably staying up the river there. So this is Steinhatchee, like sort of downtown area. Let's see what their picture looks like for this. Okay, no picture. Let's see, where are we going here? Oh, I think I need to change my chip. I think I need to change the chip because I'm too far. I need to put the other chip in. But this is the map that they have on both chips. So let's see what they got for the map. Well, I got this one in. So let's see what's going on with this. This is really dangerous. There's this dangerous rock bar right near the mouth of this thing, near the marina. And there's this sign on it right here. It says dangerous rocks and all this kind of stuff. And this is the location of it. And it exposes, it's hard as concrete, and it'll mess you up bad if you hit that. And that is the location of it exactly. And that's what that is. That's a sign for the bar. Let me see if they have that on this chart here. They do not. They have the sign. They have the sign. But look at that. Look at that. They have all these depth contours. 14 feet, 13 feet, 12 feet, 1 feet up in here. This is all deep water on their depth contours. All this stuff around this rocky bar. This is a classic example of all this focus on depth contours on their detailed charts they like to represent on the Garmin products. And here is a rock oyster bar that exposes that is not on there at all. And if you were running on this chart or the other chart, it's going to be the same as this one, and you didn't have pictures on and you couldn't see rock bar and you weren't paying attention to the sign or whatever, as you were coming from a different direction, maybe from this way or this way, and you couldn't see the words in the sign, and you were looking at these depth contours, you just run right into that. That's crazy. Let me change the chip. Okay, so this is the other chip, and that's the same picture of the rock bar. So it's the same map. That's where the bar is, right here, and that's the picture you get with Navionics. So if you're coming down the river, that's all you're going to see is that. Pretty much it. So this is, I think this is the Hags Marina or what have you. You're coming towards the bar. There it is, and it says it's a Shoal Day Beacon. Okay, so if I turn the pictures off, just see, if you turn the pictures off, there you go. There's the map that they have with the deep water. They show the beacon in the middle of all this deep water when nothing could be further from the truth. That is really something. That's incredible. All right. Look at that. That is unbelievable. All right. So you got the boat ramp here. You come out of the main drag here, and you're getting open towards, you get out of the idle zone over here, and you start running this way, and then you got some decisions to make in what direction you're going to go. So if you're going to go this way, you can make this shortcut through here. And if you didn't know that, you'd have to run all the way out this way and then out the end of the markers to avoid all this out here and all these rocks and stuff like that. And that's just the way it is. Or if you were going the other direction, you could do that. But this is a little tight at low water, and you have to go all the way out to this point here. You can't do it here because it's just too shallow here. You got to go around the yellow line. There's a rock there. There's a rock there. There's a rock here. And there's two rocks there. And you have to do it just like that, past that rock, and then all the way around that bar, and then you can get out that way if you want, if you didn't want to go all the way to the end. Let's see what they got for the mouth of the thing. Okay, so you can see that on the map only, they have the location of these bars, which is good. That is correct. But you can't really tell very well how you would get this way, exactly how you would do that. So let's turn the pictures on and see what they have for that. Oops, I think I turned the other map on. Okay, so that's how to do it. And then you got these shallow areas out here. Let's see what they have for with the pictures on. You go into more options and photo overlay to full. Okay, so that's the shaded relief map they have, and you can see the bars out here, but you can't see the shortcut this way or the shortcut that way. If you zoom in, ooh, look at that. Wow. Okay. All right. So, this is it, man. Wow. Well, you definitely want this. Look at that. That is Garmin. This is really unbelievable that they put this on the market. Look at that. Steinhatchee, one of the most dangerous areas you could ever want to negotiate. And they released this out for families to go running around with this. Look at that. That is absolutely incredible. I'm speechless, honest. I've never seen this. First time I've seen this. Look at that. Wow. I am absolutely shocked. But anyway, You would never be able to use something like this to obviously figure out what to do running through Steinhatchee. Look at that. That's absolutely incredible. Someone looked at that and said, you know, that's okay. Let's put that out. We're going to go with that. Someone actually made a decision that this was okay. See how far up it goes. Wow. Way up into here. Over to here. They might as well not even have a map here. I mean, this is so bad that it's absolutely useless to try to figure anything out like this. Look at that. That's incredible. Okay, so that's the shaded relief thing. Some creeks and stuff in here. And then if you want to really get to a real picture, that's what they provide for you. And then, okay, so then it stops here. And then you have this kind of picture over here. All right. All right. Let's see. Let me get back to the other one because this is just a complete mess. All right. All right. Back to Steinhatchee, and we'll get going, keep moving. All right, so there it is. This is how to navigate in and out of there to the north and to the south. You have to come out, stay on the red line. Do not go at low tide inside the red line and try to run a black track unless the water's up, or there's going to definitely be a problem. You will definitely run aground. It's that far out that you have to be. It's out here for a reason. And I even got caution symbols on it out here. It's that shallow out here. It's only 1 foot from here to here at low tide. You can't get into these creeks through there. That's the reason that you have all this stuff like this. All right, so lots of creeks out of here, lots of bars through here. This is a pretty cool area to run because, you know, you can get in these deep creeks like this and wind around through these shallow flats, and it'll fish will hang in these creeks. You can run all the way back up into here. I ran that in my boat on a dead low tide. I idled all the way up into here like that. And this is a sort of a channel. You can't hardly see it that well in the picture, but there's a channel there. And that's how you would run through there. There's some more creeks. Here's a bunch of rocks. This is all rocky out here in front of here. There's all these stakes and rocks and stuff out here. And then the ingress and egress to get into this thing here is like that. Hard to see it, but that is the way that they do it. And it's very, very tight doing that. Okay, then you have this Keaton Beach. So this is the ingress and egress out of there. Running in through the channel there and then through here. Sweetwater Creek. Live Oak Point. You can see that the pictures are okay. They're certainly sufficient to understand what's going on. They're not quite as clean as some of the other ones down further south. These are a little bit lower res, but still sufficient. This is about as low a res of a picture that I would put on there. But sometimes these pictures are actually better than the higher res pictures that I might have, because this actually might show it better. Maybe because of the tide or whatever. Okay, lots of rocks here. Look at all that. Tons of rocks and obstacles in that area there. Lots of bars. This one's actually got probably a marker. There's something going on here. I don't remember what that is. Yeah, this is a big rock with a marker and a light on it, I guess. Rocks all up in here. But these creeks are very popular for fishing, but they're very challenging to navigate when the water's low. And I can't even get into some of them. You can see I didn't even run the tracks up in here, but it stops there. But people run airboats up in here, and they go all the way, even back up all the way back up into here, way up in here. You can run that. Here's one. You got to wind through like that. Have to be high tide. And you got springs up here. It's all spring fed up here, and there's a boat ramp there. Let me get my bearings here. So we are sort of halfway between over this way, Apalachicola area down and over this way, and Steinhatchee over this way up, and still working our way across the shoreline. And you can see, all the tracks that were run and all the creeks that go up in here, and all of the creeks are noted on here, that you could, be able to. They're all going to look similar to this. So if you don't see the exact one that you were looking for, it's going to look similar to one of these. There may be tracks going into it, there may not be, depending on how shallow it is and all of that. But there's lots of obstacles that I noted in there on them that I could see. Just because there's not a track doesn't mean I couldn't see obstacles in photos and things like that and mark things. And that's how this stuff got on there. Because I had other data sets where I could actually see rocks and banks and obstacles hanging out there. And I could put it exactly where they are. All right, so just creek after creek after creek. And it looks all like that all the way over. And you can see tons of obstacles that were marked. All of these are rocks and stuff like that are out there. All right, and then St. Mark's. Okay, so you got the lighthouse there, big flat out in the front. And lots of banks, lots and lots of banks out here that you have to wind around through to get into this place. Let's see what they got for the pictures over this way. Okay, well, you can see some banks in there. Pictures aren't so great, but might be better like that. If you start getting in closer, then it goes too fuzzy to be very useful. Okay. I took this it's all the way up to in here. So it goes all the way up to that ramp. I didn't go past that, but you probably still could go way up that river. The pictures probably go all the way up to the end here. Let's see, yep. So the pictures run all the way up to the end. Let's see if they got pictures for up there. No pictures. So it's like I said, their pictures only go so far, and then you run out of pictures. So their pictures stop down here, and then anything inland to there, it's not really designed to be used. So it's not so great. If you're trying to run that boat ramp or that spring or whatever, that's what you get. So again, they say we start where the road ends. Well, the road ends right there, and it's not starting there. So you can't really understand what you're supposed to do. Really a shame. All right, let's keep on moving. And yeah, all these, I mean, even way up in here, there's going to be good pictures on this. This has probably got, like, even up in a place like this, you can probably really see what's happening here if you had your boat up in here. And you won't find any of these pictures on their chart. It's just there's no coverage for that. So even these creeks like this, way up inland, boat ramps like that, if you weren't going to go exploring back up in there, you could use it and get up in there. Probably these major lakes. You can really see, what's happening. These are all weeds in the lakes. These pass through the weeds. On these big water features that they have up inland. So almost all the water features, all the inland water features are going to be on here in higher resolution like this, so you can really see what's happening. And like, this is a pretty big lake. Let me see if they have that on there. Maybe they got it on the map. Let's see, probably don't have any pictures. No pictures. Oh, so they have a map for that. So no pictures, but you get some depth contours for this particular body of water.